Welcome to the Support of Ambition, where we celebrate creativity, ambition, and the journey of bringing big ideas to life. I'm your host, Danny, and I'll introduce you to inspiring voices from all walks of life. Artists, innovators, and dreamers who are pushing boundaries and redefining what's possible. This podcast is about the power of support, shared stories, and the belief that we're all stronger when we lift each other up. Thanks for joining us on this journey. Let's dive in. Today's guest has reached tens of millions of people by doing something rare in the content creation world, telling the truth. Andy Neal is a filmmaker and outdoor content creator who turned hiking trails in Southern Oregon and brutal honesty about his mental health into a movement. His Stupid Hike for My Stupid Mental Health series resonates because Andy doesn't just show you the cinematic beauty of nature, he shows you what it actually takes to heal. Through his weight loss journey, he shared every part of the process, the therapy, the struggles, the setbacks, and the long road of learning to trust his body again. He's created content for REI, Disney, and National Geographic, but more importantly, he's created a space where people feel seen. Andy, welcome to the Support of Ambition.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, it's really great to be able to talk to you. I came across your profile, I think it was on Facebook, and it really resonated with me. The way you were so open about your journey from your past of being an evangelical pastor to where you are today. First, I just want to talk about this massive following that you've built across multiple platforms. Take us back a little bit before that. When's the moment you decided to start sharing your story publicly, and what were you most afraid of?
So I started sharing my story publicly right around when the pandemic was getting started. I had always loved social media. Like, my wife and I literally met on MySpace. Social media has always been like a thing. We met, she lived in Oregon, I lived in Vegas. We met, so then she ended up getting a job in Vegas, moved out there, and we started dating, got married. So it's always kind of been a thing for me. But around the pandemic in 2020, there wasn't a whole lot for me to do. I just started getting into hiking at the behest of my therapist. My therapist was like, why don't you try hiking? Because at the time I was just kind of in an existential crisis, trying to figure out what to do with my life. I just graduated film school. I left my old career as a pastor behind. Pandemic happened. There was nothing to do. So I just started sharing my hikes, and was tagging brands like Columbia, because I was about 400 pounds at the time. I was a big dude, and there was not a whole lot of companies making clothes, like moisture wicking clothes, hiking clothes for bigger people. Columbia Sportswear was, like, at the time, the only one. So I'd post these videos, I'd post just pictures of me, and I would tag them in it. Eventually it got their attention. And they're like, hey, we like your look. We're doing more of an emphasis on plus size clothing, plus size outdoors people. Have you ever thought about modeling? And about 2 weeks before that, I had actually said, I think I'm going to try to get into plus size modeling.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay.
And it just kind of worked out. It was serendipitous. And I literally, within 2 weeks of saying that, they called me up and like, hey, we'd like to work with you. I was in the Columbia River Gorge, which is about 4 hours north of here near Portland, filming with the largest outdoor retailer or manufacturer in the world.
Wow.
Out hiking and taking pictures from waterfalls. And I just kind of started, doing the modeling and started doing some social media stuff for them. Only had about 5,000 followers. Wasn't a whole lot on Instagram. I maybe had 5 followers on TikTok. Like, it wasn't anything. I was also trying to do podcasts as well. During that time, I started a podcast called the Hiker Podcast, which actually did pretty well, but it was audio only, and just for a while it was the number one outdoor podcast during the pandemic on Apple Podcasts. So it was doing well, but this wasn't a whole lot of,
yeah.
it was doing well, but it wasn't a whole lot of money. I couldn't find a whole lot of sponsors at the time. But social media wasn't really something I thought I would be able to do full time. I didn't think I could be an influencer. I didn't think I could hack it as an influencer. My thing was always, I graduated film school. I would do stuff for other people. I'd create social media content for other people, videos and commercials for other people. But then one day, January 2022, I've been doing a little bit of modeling. I'd worked with Eddie Bauer doing promoting some camping equipment they had. But one day I did this video called "Going for a Stupid Hike for My Stupid Mental Health." It was early in the year 2022. People were posting videos called "Going for a Stupid Walk for My Stupid Mental Health." I'm like, well, I can do that. I can do it as hiking, and it just hit. It's this funny music that goes with it, dun 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 dun, dun, you know. And most people are just doing like one shot, and I was like, oh no, I'll do like reverse shot. I'll do like 6 different shots, different angles, getting out of the car, getting onto the trail, crossing a trail bridge, walking across, by the river, and it just took off. I remember I dropped off my daughter at school. I made the video because her school is near a hiking trail near the river. Made the video, posted it, realized as soon as I posted it, oh, there's a typo, took it down, edited it again, reposted it, which you're not supposed to do. Like they
Right,
say, don't
right.
do that. But I did it. It was like, I have 5,000 followers. Maybe 20 people will see this. Hit upload, drove home, which was about 20 minutes. I got home. I was like, this has 10,000 views. Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
Wow.
I had never had anything hit over like 4 or 5,000 views before. And that was in 20 minutes. I'm like, okay, this is going to do pretty well. 10,000 turned to 100,000. Like, oh, wow. At 200,000, I went ahead and posted it on TikTok.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then it just like immediately on TikTok, 1 million views. I'm like, oh crap. And then Instagram was like, hold my beer. And then it went to like 10 million views. At 10 million views, I started getting calls from like news agencies and local news and national news. Like, who is this guy?
Wow. Okay.
And it just blew up. And then brands were like, outdoor brands, especially. I'd already kind of been and had my foot obviously in the outdoor brands in the outdoor industry with Columbia and Eddie Power. And they were like, oh, with the hiking podcast as well, let's get with this guy. And pretty much immediately, ended up, I think right now it sits at like 38 million views, that original video. But that point on, it was like, I immediately was able to go full time into becoming a content creator. There was no looking back. I did follow-up videos of that afterwards, and each one of them got 2-3 million views. And was able to just share my journey of going outdoors and discovering the outdoors at the behest of my therapist. My therapist
There
said,
you
try,
go.
going for a stupid hike for your stupid mental health. Literally, my therapist told me to take a hike, so I did it.
Your therapist made a content superstar.
Yes, yes. And since that time, I've had a lot of other trends and stuff go viral. Audio go viral. I've done acting. I've done more modeling. I've shared my journey with my kids. We've adopted 3 kids from foster care. Our 2 oldest have special needs, and we've fought the state of Oregon to get them the mental health care that they were promised. Oregon ranks last in the nation when it comes to mental health services for children and teens.
Oh, wow.
I've testified from the Oregon State Senate Committee on Human Resources, and just really been able to be an advocate for mental health for the outdoors. I've worked with advocacy agencies protecting the outdoors, and I've worked with brands like Disney and stuff. I get to do really cool stuff, and I get paid to do it.
Yeah,
And
that's
I jokingly say, as an influencer, I have the dream job of every 19-year-old in LA. As a 43-year-old living in rural Oregon.
yeah, yeah. Well,
So yeah,
you're
that's the short of it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, let's talk a little bit more about mental health since you're mentioning that a lot right now. And it is very important, and it's something that I don't think, at least, I think we're around the same generation, around the same age. That growing up, it wasn't something that we heard a lot about. At least I didn't. And it's something that I guess over time has become more commonplace and more mainstream and okay to talk about openly.
Yeah.
Have what's that been like sharing, or has there been any emotional toll on you sharing your mental health journey so publicly?
I think there's definitely been a toll on me. I don't always share everything. My biggest thing is letting people know it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
And it definitely takes its toll because there are some people who literally believe that people with mental health issues are faking it. It's not real. I've literally had someone, I was doing a video with a big YouTuber who was doing a debate, and the guy on the other side literally said, he was ex-Navy SEAL, all this stuff. He's like, people in foreign countries, kids don't have mental health issues. I'm like, really? Because I've talked to a lot of people who work for nonprofits who go to places like Afghanistan, like you're talking about, and these kids have massive mental health issues. He's like, no, they have real problems there. I'm like, yes, I understand we live in the United States. We have first world problems. I get that. But mental health is universal.
Yeah.
And so there's that pushback from people who really believe that, oh, you need your safe space. You need this. I'm like, no, this is, we have to talk about these things. Um, and I've learned to get over it. I think the biggest toll on me, on my mental health, was sharing the fact, I was a 400-pound dude,
Yeah.
putting myself on the internet with such a large following, who was a model. Like, people be like, oh, you're not really a model. I'm like, well, here's the, catalog from Columbia Sportswear. You're like, you tell me I'm
Right.
not a model.
Right.
Um, and then just, being open and honest about that, about my body, talking about body dysmorphia, talking about, I was diagnosed with an eating disorder, binge eating disorder. That it takes its toll, because there's always those people out there who just want to use that against you. But
Hmm.
I think that's the very vocal minority.
Yeah.
Most
Yeah.
people I hear from, 99%, are just very grateful that I share these things. They feel seen. They feel like they're not alone anymore, which is the
Hmm.
biggest take back for me, is letting people know they are not alone.
Right.
And even sharing this journey of, losing weight, I've been very open about the fact, I've lost, since June, I've lost 100 pounds, over 100 pounds now, being on GLP-1, Ozempic, 140 pounds since I started kind of trying,
Hmm.
2 years ago now. Um, and that's been a toll on my mental health as well, just because I was so connected with the plus size and body positive community. Many of them think I've abandoned them. Like, oh,
Right. Right.
you're
There's that. Yeah.
engaging in intentional weight loss. You're not one of us anymore. Well, that's not even any further from the truth. You look at my Instagram yesterday. I called out a creator who I met, who my daughter loves, for making jokes about fat people. Like, it's not okay. Everyone their bodies are different, and everyone's bodies are the way they are for different reasons. I
Right.
had mental health and physical health reasons why the way my body was the way it was, and it took me years to sink that in and figure it out. But some people it's genetic, some people it's because of the medication they're on, some people it's just they can't figure it out. For me, for a long
Yeah.
time, I couldn't figure it out, and that's taken a toll. But ultimately, it's been so rewarding to see people's lives change because they saw a video I made and they decided, I'm going to go for a walk.
Yeah.
They've
Yeah.
decided, I'm going to
Yeah.
go make this phone call and I'm going to see a therapist. I am going to, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that's been the most rewarding thing for me. I've had those days, I go to therapy. I have a therapist. I have those days where I don't want to get online. I don't want to create. And I take those breaks, and it's so important. But ultimately, I get the best job in the world. I get to do this, and I get to, you know, provide for my family. I get to take my daughter to the, VIP lounge at VidCon, and she gets to meet all our favorite creators, and I'm the coolest dad in the world. My wife doesn't have to work now because I'm able to provide for her doing this. So
That's awesome.
it's been so rewarding.
Yeah. One of the things you mentioned about, or you talk about, is learning to trust your body again, and which
Mhm.
that's such a powerful phrase, I think, because it's hard, especially for me as well, for people to do that.
Yeah.
What does that process actually look like day to day for you?
It's realizing that my body is not broken.
Okay.
I think as a person in a plus size body who tried everything for so long, every diet, every
Yeah.
exercise, every routine, I just thought I was broken. And then I got into hiking and I realized, I can do hard things even in a 360, 375, 400-pound body. I can do these things. It's going to take me longer. I'm going to breathe a lot harder. I'm going to be a lot sweatier, but I can do these things. And my body can do amazing things. Um, and so just that process, that journey for me has been life changing, realizing that my body isn't broken. I'm not broken. I just needed a little help. Um,
Yeah.
it just needed, medical intervention. And I also had to deal with the fact that I had binge eating disorder. I was eating as a way to soothe trauma and pain and suffering and stress. And once I got the handle on those things and realized my triggers and realized why my body was the way it was, and realized that, I taking responsibility for what I could, but also realizing there were some things that were just out of my hands.
Mm,
Um, that has been transformative for me.
yeah. Yeah. I see. My wife and I like to watch a lot of those videos on the people's weight loss journey on like the
Hmm.
streamers, and a lot of the things they mention is that food is an addiction.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's something that people I don't think realize that it's one of those things that they see drugs and they see, okay, that's bad for you, but they say, oh, food, you need it to survive. So how can that be something that you can get addicted to? And it is really is addiction when you look at it as, like you said, a binge or eating disorder. Is that something that you've been able to finally come to terms with, and well, obviously you have been able to change your perception around it, and how are you helping others hopefully grow and make sure let them know that it's okay?
That 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 is a really great way to put it, because food is something we have to have. We need
Yeah,
nourishment.
right.
We can't stop eating. If someone, has a problem with alcohol, they can stop, or they can work to stop drinking alcohol. If someone has a drug addiction, you stop taking the drugs. I can't stop eating.
Right.
Um, so it's one of those things, you're constantly faced with it. And so much of our society revolves around food,
Mm-hmm.
social
Yep.
situations, everything. There's food everywhere. Um, and so just coming to terms with the fact that I had a toxic relationship with food as a child, food was used to soothe me. And that's what I used. Food for me, I had never had a problem with alcohol, never had a problem with drugs or cigarettes or anything. It was food for me. And that's what I turned to when I was stressed, when I was, in, you know, dire situations. That's what comforted me. Coming to terms with that and realizing that in therapy, and then also realizing the bodily side of it, that there was this food noise that just kept telling me to eat, 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 eat. Some of that's genetic, some of that's the binge eating disorder. And then getting on a medication that just silenced that food noise. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not not only am I not feeling hungry, my brain isn't telling me to eat all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And my body's actually able to get results from the work I've been trying to do on the trail and in the gym for so long. That has been absolutely revolutionary. And I think so many people, there's so much guilt and shame around food. Um, and we have to break the stigma around it. Like I said, I responded to a creator yesterday who made a very crass joke about fat people. Um, those kind of things really do hurt, because fat people are seen as lazy. They're seen as having no ability to have any self-control. They
Right.
can't
Right.
control themselves
Right.
around food. If they would just have a little self-discipline, they could change their life. Talk to any fat person. Which also, just a side note, I have no problem. I've never had a problem with the word fat. It's a descriptor. It's a description of a body type.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been like, we don't make it a negative term. Um, as fat people, we know we're fat. You don't tell us, and we've struggled with every kind. I dare you talk to a fat person who hasn't tried Atkins or keto or any Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem, all this stuff, who hasn't tried everything and it's failed, or they lost weight and then they gained it back and they
Right.
gained more back because their body was like, nope, we don't like that, and their body is literally fighting them. And that's because of genetics and their body type and that sort of thing. And so it really, I want to communicate to people that this is a real thing. People really struggle with it, binge eating disorder, um, being in a bigger body, and there's a million different reasons. I've talked to people who went on a GLP-1 like I have, and they had such an adverse reaction, they couldn't take it.
Oh wow. Okay.
I've talked to people who their doctor said, because they have a history of in their family of thyroid issues, their doctor won't prescribe it to them.
Mm.
Um, so, and I've talked to people who just the medication just didn't do anything for them. That's their thing too. Ozempic, some people it just doesn't work. Um, so I want the world to realize that people are the size they are for a myriad of different reasons.
Right.
It doesn't. That's not to say you don't take personal responsibility. You don't learn discipline to a certain extent. But there's also things that are out of your hands and out of your control. Um, and realizing that your body can do amazing things at any size. That
Mm-hmm.
you can go amazing places at any size. At the same time, you know, I'm able to go do hikes now that I wasn't able that I did before. That take me a third of the time. I'm getting ready to hike the slot canyons of Escalante, Utah. I wasn't able to do that before
Right.
because I was in a 400-pound body. I'm going to Disneyland next week. Goofy Sky School. Wasn't able to ride that. Was too big. That's the first thing we're doing in DCA when we get there. My daughter and I, because she was with me last time, I tried to get on it, and they literally kicked me off
Oh,
because I was too big. The thing wouldn't click down. I'm getting on there first thing, and I'm riding that attraction. Um, there's things I get to do now that I didn't get to do in a bigger body. I'm excited about that, and I'm embracing that. At the same time, I didn't have any less worth before because I was in a bigger body.
right, right. And I think that's an important distinction, that it's not the size of your body that is what's making you happy or driving you. It's the other conditions that come with it.
Mhm.
Your mental health, to be able to do things that you maybe wanted to do that you weren't able to before.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. Well, how has your relationship with movement changed since you started your hiking?
Movement before was seen as a chore. It was seen as something I didn't want to do. It was seen as something that I was forced to do. Um, and when I got into hiking, it became joyful, even at 400 pounds. I would go out and hike every week. I would go and climb plateaus and mountains and cross rivers. I was strong, and I'm realizing how strong I am. I was now that I'm in a smaller body.
Okay.
Like, oh wow, I'm really strong. I was really strong. I was able to do a lot of things. I mean, just think of the fact that I was carrying around 150 pounds that I didn't have
Yep.
that I don't have now. I
Right.
was carrying that around in my body on top of having a 30, 40 pound pack on me, hiking up mountains, backpacking 2, 3 nights. Like I was strong, and I'm even stronger now because I'm doing a lot of weight training and that sort of thing. So I hate that for so many people, especially people in bigger bodies, movement is seen as a chore. It's seen as painful, where it should be joyful. And I
Mm,
think that's where the fitness industry gets it wrong. Is we tell people, oh, you got to punish your body, you got to work into submission. It's like, no, movement should be joyful. Movement should bring you happiness, and if it
right.
doesn't, you're doing it wrong. It shouldn't hurt when you go to the gym. It shouldn't hurt. That's not saying it. There's not going to be soreness. There's going to be
Right.
soreness. That's your
Right.
body responding to muscle growth and that sort of thing. But if you're going to the gym and you're doing something and it hurts, don't do it, because you're literally hurting your body and you're
Yep.
going to end up getting injured, and get injured, then you can't work out, and then it's counterproductive.
Yeah. I completely understand that. Well, what would you say to someone who wants to use nature or fitness for their mental health, but maybe feels a little intimidated by their current fitness level or just not knowing where to start?
I would say just do it. Um, with the caveat, I always say the outdoors, fitness, hiking doesn't take the place of therapy. It doesn't take the place of going to a therapist, seeing a mental health practitioner. However, I understand at the same time that, that is cost prohibitive for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Insurance, being able to pay for it, transportation, whatever. I get that. So this is a little caveat, side note there. However, I know the outdoors is intimidating. Start small. Download All Trails or Strava. I like All Trails. I've worked with All Trails, full disclosure. But I was using it before. That's the app. That's actually the first app I ever used when I first started getting into hiking. That's why I found my first trail.
Nice.
Someone said, try this All Trails app. I did it, downloaded it. I'm like, oh, look at all these trails around me. And find something non-intimidating, a quarter mile, find a trail at a park near your house. So many parks, public parks, have these spaces where you can go and just walk a trail. Just get into it slowly.
Yeah.
If you're even just worried about walking, I say walk to the mailbox and back. Then walk to your neighbor's mailbox and back the
Mm-hmm.
next day, and just work up to it, because it is intimidating. The outdoors, you walk into an REI, and I love REI. Um, you see all this gear and equipment. You see pictures and advertisements of people, conquering mountains and, going up to waterfalls and rivers. It can be really intimidating, but if you actually talk to the employees, they're great and they'll help you, get what you need. Generally, they don't try to oversell you. Um, but it's super intimidating.
Yeah.
Find some videos on YouTube. Find out, like, if you're just walking down the street, you don't need a pack with the 10 essentials of hiking in it, or in a park where you can see your car the whole time. But find out, green or blue spaces around you, wilderness spaces around you, and just go and just
Yeah.
hike. Take all the safety requirements. There's so many resources out there for hiking. On my channel and so many other channels. Just Google 10 essentials of hiking. What do you need? Get on All Trails. Find out what's around you. and go.
Yep.
It's there's whether you live in the forest, the desert, the mountains, the beach, the coast, there are these spaces everywhere. Even in cities, like you go to places like like Las Vegas. I was in Vegas a few weeks ago, hiked Red Rock Canyon. Love
There you
that
go.
place.
Hmm.
Los Angeles has Griffin Park right in the middle of the city. San Francisco has amazing spaces where you forget you're even in the city. There are spaces that you can go and get away from it all and just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yep. Well, you live in Southern Oregon, which is
Yes,
I've seen pictures and I've heard is absolutely stunning. So, how has that specific landscape shaped your healing journey?
just grew up a lot in the LA area and Las Vegas area. As someone who was a bona fide city kid,
Okay.
did not like going out in nature. My family would go out to Red Rock and be like, okay, the rocks are red. Big whoop. It's hot. It's dry. Let's get back in the AC. Here in Vegas,
Yeah.
you're like, it's funny because I went and hiked there, last month, and it was 70 degrees in January. You're like,
Hmm. Hmm.
I left sunburned because I didn't put on enough sunscreen. Like, it's January and I'm sunburned. What the heck is this? Um, but even with Vegas, where we were from where we were staying, it was still a 30-40 minute drive to get there. We got down to
Yeah.
Charleston, had to shoot
Yeah.
down. Um, but here, I can be at some of the most popular trails or most remote trails in 10-15 minutes.
Oh, nice.
They're
Okay.
everywhere here.
Okay.
Um, which that in and of itself has really helped heal me because I don't get to, there's always places I don't realize that are around, like, oh yeah, trails, okay, I can go hike here, I can go hike there. I'm only an hour away from Crater Lake National Park, the deepest lake in the
Oh, wow.
contiguous United States. um Beautiful, gorgeous. I got to swim in Crater Lake last summer. um just being in these spaces that are also, I mean, it was Southern Oregon. Everybody knows Portland area really well. In Southern Oregon, a lot of these spaces aren't well known. So I'll go and hike them and I'll be the only one there and I get to enjoy them. And not that I don't want other people to enjoy them or I get mad when other people are there. It's just, you go to a lot of wilderness spaces. Sometimes it kind of feels like Disneyland. Like there's so many
Ah,
cars
yeah.
there. So at
Yeah.
national parks, there's so
Yeah.
many cars there. Even at Crater Lake, if you go during the prime season in the middle of the summer, there's this line. I'm like, what am I doing? Waiting in line for a fast pass or something? Um, but there's here you have the evergreens, the rivers, the mountains. I was just before this interview, I was just out in the snow by the river,
Oh,
and
wow.
I can be in the snow in 20 minutes right now. I can be in the high desert in an hour and a half, 2 hours. I can be on the coast on the redwoods from here in an
Wow.
hour and a half. The California redwoods. I'm so far
Amazing.
down
Wow.
that I could be
Yeah.
right over in the coast in the California redwoods at the Redwood National Park. Um, and so just having this access here, I really don't take for granted how privileged I am to have such amazing access where I live, such amazing trails that are well maintained and that are gorgeous. And people come from all over the world to hike in the redwoods or hike at Crater Lake. We have the Pacific Crest Trail running right by here,
Hmm.
which is the trail that runs from Mexico to Canada. Um, it's a beautiful, gorgeous trail, and just hike sections of it. Like just go and hike sections of the Pacific Crest Trail. In the summer, it's really fun because you see all these hikers who start in Mexico and they're making their way up to Canada. It's amazing. It's something I'm going to do eventually one day.
That's what I was going
Um,
to ask. Is that something that you're
yeah,
planning on doing?
that I plan on doing the whole thing here eventually, kind of just seeing where my daughter lands with school and just keep myself in condition to where I hit late 40s. I can go ahead and just do it.
Yeah.
And I have the trail map behind me of the entire Pacific Crest Trail, and that's definitely a goal of mine. But yeah, this area is just, it's so underrated, and I love shining a light on it because everybody thinks Oregon, they think Portland, which is great. I love going up the gorge in Portland. I love all the amazing hiking up there, Multnomah Falls, all those great amazing places. But down here, I could be at the Redwoods on the coast, Redwood National Park in an hour and a half. I could be at Crater Lake in an hour. I It's just amazing.
Yeah. That sounds amazing. I mean, and it's a lot of opportunity for you to create your content to do your filmmaking with. Is
Yes, yes.
so let's talk a little bit about that real quick. So you have a background in digital cinema.
Yep.
So how do you approach filmmaking side of your content? What's your process from concept to maybe even fully to a finished piece?
Um, Really, I want to tell a story.
Okay.
I mean, even if you look at my stupid hike for stupid mental health video, there's a narrative there. That first video is 7 seconds long. And so I try to think of everything as I'm telling a story, a bigger story. You look at my stupid hike for stupid mental health video. Start off, I get in the car, I'm coming out of the car, I'm looking grumpy and angry, and then you see me going onto the trail. And it's a story. So
Yeah.
everything I do, whether it's me just talking to the camera or it's doing something funny or silly, I'm telling a story. And that's where the filmmaker in me really comes out, because I want to tell a story about mental health, about the outdoors, about access. I want people to be, enthralled by what I'm doing. I want them to be inspired. I want them to go out and, whether it's take care of their mental health or go for a hike, I want them to go do those things.
Yeah.
That's what any good filmmaker wants. They want their viewer to feel like they've been called to action. And so that's the approach I take is, there's the pretty views, there's, the good cinematography, there's making sure when, if there's audio there, that the audio is clear and good.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
are all practical things. But ultimately you're telling a story, and that's the approach I take with every video I make. That what is the story I'm telling? What is the call to action? What do I want the viewer to take away from this? Whether it's, a 7-minute YouTube video or a 7-second Instagram reel, what is the story here? Too many people try to just, it's I call it the Mr. Beastification. Everybody calls it that, of social media. Just try to be extreme and do all this stuff and big visuals, and that's great and that works for Jimmy. But people want authentic stuff and they want stories.
Yeah.
And you can
Absolutely.
have spectacle. Spectacle's great and they'll get you quick views, but is it going to be sustainable long term? Also, I think being myself, not trying to copy anybody else. It's really easy to look at somebody on social media. I'm going to do what they do. Now,
Yeah.
you can take inspiration and take what you can from them, but ultimately, what separates real life creators from AI creators, or from the fake stuff, is authenticity.
Yeah.
Is being yourself, because only you can be you. AI can't copy you. Other creators can't be you. They can't be what you as well as you can be you.
Right.
And that's what's gonna. I mean, the head of Instagram, Adam Missouri, actually said that recently. He said the creators who are going to succeed right now are going to be the most authentic, because that separates them from AI. That separates them from the AI slop that we're seeing everywhere right now.
Yeah. That's
Um,
true. Hmm.
and so, yeah, just tell a story and be yourself. Um, I mean, you can try the nice cinematography. When I first started doing stuff for brands with Columbia and stuff before I went viral, I always had a really expensive camera, lights and everything. And they actually said, "Hey, can you refilm that, but just use your phone?" And I'm like they literally like, it looks too good. I'm like,
Right.
okay,
Right.
I'll do it
Okay.
again with my phone.
Yeah.
So
It's
the pretty stuff is nice, but ultimately, we all have supercomputers and really great cameras in our pockets. Use
hmm
this, go do it.
hmm So you've mentioned creating all these big campaigns for Columbia, National Geographic, REI. So you've done that work for that. And you mentioned and you spoke about being authentic to yourself. How do you maintain your voice while creating for these big brands?
I think when creating for big brands, making sure the brand understands what my voice is.
Okay.
It's really easy. I mean, brands will, put big paydays in front of you, and you're like, but that's not me.
Mhm.
And I've had to turn down some pretty big deals just because I'm like, I can't with integrity do that or say that, or it just doesn't feel like it's not bad, just not a good fit for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it sucks sometimes, but ultimately I want to make sure I'm true to myself, and that my followers, people who watch my stuff, know like anything I put out there because I believe in it.
Mhm.
Whether it's a pair of sunglasses or it's Disney or whatever, I use it, I support it, I whatever it is. And so just being true to that. And also just I try to, on my Facebook especially, where I get to have a little more conversation with my followers. Just let them know, like, this is how I make a living. Like, all media you consume, it costs money to make it. So, you're like, oh, we do no commercials on Netflix, but you're paying for Netflix. And even on some tiers of Netflix, you're paying for it and you got commercials,
And you got commercial.
you know?
Yeah.
And then, a lot of people are like, oh, we need to create more content. You need to do more stuff. Like, well, to do that, this isn't made in a vacuum. I need support to do it.
Hmm.
So, this is how I support myself and my family and my work with working with brands. It can be really tough, and I try not to judge other creators who maybe work with a brand or something. I'm like, that's not because this work can be feast or famine sometimes.
Yeah.
You have, brands come in and it's like one deal after another. I'm kind of in one of those seasons right now where it's like one after another. It's like, okay, cool. And then you'll have a month where it's like no one's calling. Do I need to go
Wow.
find another job? Um, as the more I do this, the more we've got our finances in line, we've got savings. I've got ad revenue with the platform, so people just watching my content, I get ad revenue, which is really nice. That recently just started for me, which is cool, really cool.
That's cool.
Um, but even that, you try to there's the temptation of just chasing views. Like, just
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
I post this, it's just going to get a lot of views. But is it me? Is it, is it clickbait? Is it taking advantage of people's emotions? Always try to think about that. Ultimately, just be true to yourself, because if you want longevity in this game, you have to be authentic.
Absolutely.
There's so many people who just put out viral stuff quickly as much as possible, and people get sick of them, they get sick of it, and they stop watching and they fall off. I'm
Yeah.
constantly reinventing myself. I'm constantly talking about what's going on with me, and some of that stuff just doesn't land. Some of it does. But I still go back to the stupid hike for stupid mental health videos. People like them.
Yeah.
I do them at different places now. I put new twists on them now. I put different music on it now, but people love it. And it's, I'm doing a hiking series where I'm going to go do hikes called Going for Stupid Hike for Stupid Mental Health in different cities. I got, Ashland here in 2 weeks. We got Nashville coming up in April.
Awesome.
Um, there's kind of our test cases, see how it goes from there. And then, you know, it's just making sure that you know who you are, you're authentic to that, and brands understand this is what you're getting with me. And we've had situations where one situation where a brand, they tried to change terms on us in the middle of a thing, like, oh, we need you to put this on there, like, no, that's not what we agreed to, and we cancel the deal. We're like,
Wow.
no, you agreed to this, and I have a good management team, and they still got them to pay because they did agree to it, and so I got to get paid and do the work. It's great. But just having those expectations up front, and having a management team now is really helpful with that, because they make sure all the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed, and everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
Brands can take advantage of you when you're a lone wolf out there. You're doing your own thing. You don't understand things like perpetuity. Like, you've just signed over the rights of your name, image, and likeness this company for all of eternity. Like, oh crap. Like, there are brands I've worked with, they still put my picture out there because before I had a management team that managed my stuff, they got me to sign something that said they had the rights to it. There's nothing I can do about it. And, that's
Yep.
business.
Yep. How hard of it was a lesson for you? I know I struggle with this to learn how to say no.
Oh gosh. You want to say yes to everybody.
Yeah.
You do. Um, I think it just came with being overwhelmed so much.
Mhm. Okay.
Especially when you first start in the content creation game, you don't know how long this is going to last.
Yeah.
So you want to ride the wave, which I get that. But you want to go to every opportunity. You want to, do every brand deal. You want to meet with everybody. You can't do it. You're one person.
Hmm.
And it got to the point for me where I was just so overwhelmed, so stressed out. I wasn't able to go on hikes because I'm sitting there meeting with people. I'm creating all this content where, it looks like I'm hiking, but I'm not hiking. I'm just, out in a foresty area. It looks like there's a hike. Which I get. Sometimes you got to do that. That's
Hmm.
fine. But it's like, I wasn't taking any time for myself. I wasn't doing the thing I
Right.
was telling people to do. Um, so yeah, you have to really be able to say no early and often.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you don't challenge yourself. It doesn't mean you don't, push yourself a little bit on what you can handle. But I soon learned my limits. I soon learned, like, I can't handle all the business side of things. I just can't. I
Yeah.
can't handle all the scheduling side of things. I just can't. I'm a creative. I like
Yeah.
being in the
I
forest.
hear you.
I like
Hmm.
filming. I don't
Hmm.
want to. I don't want to schedule this or that. I don't want to have to read through contracts and I don't even like booking my own. I have to fly somewhere for a brand deal. I don't like booking my own flights. Like, no, just take care of it. Just do it. Like, here's my TSA stuff. Just take care of it. Like,
Yep.
let me know when I'm supposed to be there. Send an Uber. We'll be good. You know, um, and understanding my limits is super helpful. And my team now knows, Andy doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Andy won't do that. Or they'll run things by me like, we don't think you're going to do this. So we want to check with you first. Like, yeah, that's not my thing.
Well, that's good. You have people there you could trust and lean on to for
Yep.
that part of it, which allows you and gives you more space to do the stuff that you do love to do.
Yes.
The
Yes. And that's so key. I am good at I'm good at hiking and filming. I'm Andy Films and Hikes. I am good at creating content.
Andy
I
films and hikes. Yeah.
Yeah, I was a professional editor. After out of film school, I did a lot of professional editing. I'm really good at editing, but even that's getting a little overwhelming because the clip of content I have to make. So I'm looking at maybe hiring a assistant editor here soon. Um, but yeah, just I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not good at, and recognizing that's helped me be able to say no.
Yeah. That's that's key. That is very key. And I've learned that going forward that I have to teach myself and adhere to that from time to time.
Yep.
Well, being a husband and a father, does that factor into maybe what you say yes and no to in your
Oh,
content and your healing?
oh, absolutely. They are my priority. They are why I do what I do. And it's hard. It's a kind of a double-edged sword because I am my own boss, because I get to, in a lot of ways, create my own schedule. My daughter has something going on at school in the middle of the day. I don't have to ask for time off. I just
Right.
go.
Yeah.
My daughter has, she plays AAU basketball. I just, I just go.
Mhm.
She travels all over the state and all over Northern California. I get to go. I don't have to ask for time off work or worry about.
Nice.
Like, I just go and do it. At the same time, there are times where I have to travel a ton all at once. All my traveling seems to always happen around the same time. And so it's like, I got to be going here. I got to go there. I got to go to New York. I got to go to Boston. I got to go here, which it takes me away from my family. And there are just times where I'm like, there's too much travel in here. I have to say no to one or two of these things because I need to be with my family. They need me around. At the same time, there are opportunities where it's like, this opportunity will be great for me and my family. It'll allow us to, we paid off tens of actually like hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt and credit card debt. Since I've been able to do this, people are like, oh, you're this big creator. You must have all this money. It's like, actually, we used a lot of the money just to pay off debt because we were in massive amounts of debt before, which has been really cool. We didn't live an extravagant lifestyle before and we don't live one now because we're getting our house in order. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely impacts what I say yes to, what I say no to. Also my privacy, like
Interesting. Okay.
understanding I go out in public all over the country now. I get recognized, not like, like I'm Brad Pitt or something, but like last my family and I, we flew to Las Vegas 2, 3 weeks ago and sit down and right behind me. Hey, are you that hiking guy? Oh,
Wow.
can we get a selfie? And I'm always down to take a selfie with people, and my family's really cool with it. But just understanding there's always that possibility, not possibility, it always happens. Someone go out in public, I'm going to the grocery store, getting milk, and someone's like, hey, I love your content. Can I get a selfie? Yep. I remember being in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska, working with the Arbor Day Foundation in this little restaurant and bar, and some person was sitting across from me and I get a DM and I look like, hey, I saw you in Nebraska at this bar. I was too nervous to say hi. And I'm like, hey, I'm right here. Like, and I'm like in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska. Like, what is this? Um, but understanding, their privacy and their boundaries, my wife doesn't like being in my content. My youngest daughter loves being in my
Mm,
content.
mhm.
Um, and so, what does that look like? A lot of people are like, oh, why isn't your wife in your content more? I'm like, because she doesn't want to be.
Right.
Like, this
Right.
is my platform. Occasionally she's in it because she wants to be. She feels like it. She helps me run this thing, though. She helps me, manage my day to day. And that's cool. My daughter wants to be in more of it. She wants to be in everything. I've had to be like, you're 13, slow your roll. You'll get there. Focus on school and basketball and cleaning your room.
Right. Right. That's awesome. That is awesome. Um, so what does that feel like then for you to be a full-time content creator and being a dad? I mean,
It it's cool.
it's
It's
cool.
I it, I love being able to provide these really cool opportunities for my kids. Um, travel all over, but also, they get to meet people who, you know, creators who, for us, it's like Nickelodeon or Disney Channel stars that we grew up watching. Like they get to go like sit down and have lunch with these people
That's
at VidCon or at Vid Summit. And it's like, it's really cool. I get them allowed to bring them along a lot of the time. At the same time, it's just understanding that there is a level, like I talked about before, of privacy that has to be maintained.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That, we talk about my kids, my two oldest kids, their mental health struggles. I don't use their names,
Right,
because that's their story to tell.
right.
Um, I am very careful about what I share about them. I'm very, very general about what I share. Um, because they're all the two oldest are almost adults now. One's about to be an adult here in about 2 weeks. So they have their own story to tell. They have their privacy, and that's their thing. Um, the same thing, like my youngest, like she's taking a film class in middle school right now. She wants to do what I do,
Wow,
and
that's
so
cool.
and she's also freaking star basketball player. She's 5'11" and she's just turned 13. She has a
Wow.
size 12 in men's shoe. Like she's gonna play college ball. Like I know every dad says that about their kid. Like, no, this girl's good. She's gonna play college ball. Like she has the skill and the size for it if she keeps up with it. And it's like, okay, we're talking about NIL deals now. Like, okay, well, that's a possibility. We got an NIL deal for her. Me and her club together to do this NIL deal. We're real excited about it. It's something she wants to do, but also teaching her like, hey, online privacy, and this is
Yes,
what we share. This is what we don't share. Also understanding her social media account, I have 100% control over it. Like it's not on her phone, it's on
good.
my phone.
That's
And
good.
like here, you can look at the comments, you can look at this, you can look at that. But you're not posting without my approval and my
Right.
wife's approval.
That's cool.
Because there are some real creeps out there.
Oh
There
yeah.
really are. There really are. And just um, understanding that also everything on social media isn't real. I think my daughter more than anybody understands that because, you know, we create these videos and it's like, yeah, we did that in 17 takes. Like it
Right.
took a long time to do it. Like that didn't really just happen. That's for that's most social media creators. Like
It is.
you want to get it right. You want it to look good. And it like I filmed something yesterday. It was I looked at the camera roll. It was 27 takes to get it right. Got it right the 27th time.
There
It
you
was
go.
great, but you know, that's
Hey.
real life and just our kids realizing, what is real, what is not.
Yeah, that's an
You know,
important distinction for, especially for the youth to understand. I mean, before for us, it was like, oh, we can't believe everything you see on TV, but now
yep.
it's mainly social media. And yeah, my
Yep.
goodness. What's the next chapter of your story then? Where do you see your work taking you?
Um, Honestly, more long form content, which
Oh,
I'm
okay.
still trying to figure that out.
Okay.
Um, there's a lot of creators out there creating long form YouTube content, 5, 10, 20 minutes long.
Hmm.
I've flirted with like, tutorial videos, but there's a lot of tutorial videos out there. The stuff that resonates the most is me just telling stories, me just vlogs, old vlog style, John Green, Hank Green talking to the camera.
Yeah.
And that seems to be the stuff that resonates the most on YouTube. I think I just crossed 12,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is a big deal for me because I was trying to do YouTube before I ever went viral, and I would be happy if I had 10 subscribers. So, I also put my shorts on there as well. But, just kind of really this year has been my goal is kind of figure out what does long form content look like? Is it just me vlogging, which people seem to like?
Mm-hmm.
And then also this year, I want to get a more of a production team around me, people who can help me with the editing and the filming, and then there's traveling, just doing more traveling, more in-person speaking gigs. Um, I'm excited to be in Nashville in April, at Harkin Hall, 600 person venue, talking about my journey, just in person
Wow.
talking.
Okay.
People love that. And that's another thing as a creator, I would encourage people to start doing if you're a creator is do in-person events, like
Yeah.
do
Okay.
in-person meetups. That's going to differentiate you from AI because AI creators can't do that. You
Right.
can't go, we're going to have a hike in 2 weeks here in Southern Oregon. AI can't do that. And I'm shocked at the response I've gotten for, in-person events. Like, wow, okay, people really want to hang out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's going to be really a focus for the next year. Long form content, um, getting more of a team around me to support me, and then in-person events.
Yeah. I completely agree with you. I think that's one thing we're going to see a boom in is live performances and in-person events,
Mm-hmm.
especially
Yep.
because people already are tired of the AI slop, right?
Yep.
They're done with it. They're over it. It's a fun little gimmick, I guess. It's not going to go anywhere. So how do we combat that? We go to live events. We go to
Yep.
live performances, and I truly believe that's what's gonna really take off.
Yep. Yep. I completely agree. I mean, trend forecasters say it, and it's true. I mean, you go to any live event right now, it's packed, it's sold out. People want to be around other people in real life.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we're called the supportive ambition. So I just want to ask you real quick, what do you think supportive ambition means to you, both in your personal journey and what you're trying to build for your community?
Just having an infrastructure that, supports my dreams,
Like it.
that I have put myself and people around me in a position to succeed. It People see that ambition as a negative thing. It's not. It's having goals, having ambition. It's my North Star. It's what drives me. It's like, why am I doing what I'm
Right.
doing? How does this fit into my goals? And if it doesn't, do I really need to be doing this? And so for me, it's just making sure I have what I need to do what I want to accomplish, and really accomplish my dreams. That sounds so cliche. You hear so many people like at the Oscars, like if you just work for your dreams, you can accomplish anything. And there's the realities of socioeconomic situations and family situations. I get that, but the more I've said this a few times, the more I've begun to like manifest. Like I don't want to get all woo woo and stuff, but like really, this is what I want to accomplish. I'm going to manifest that. I'm going to make it happen. It's happened.
Yeah.
First thing I think about is when I said I'm going to become a plus size outdoor model. 2 weeks later, Columbia Sportswear didn't know anything about it. Like, hey, it's because I started setting my trajectory and my sights on what I wanted,
Hmm.
and things started aligning. Your time goes where your energy flows. It's really it's true. And
Yeah.
when you begin to put your focus and energy towards things, not only, you got the whole woo-woo, the universe lines up, maybe not, but at the same time, you're looking and seeing and aligning yourself with opportunities that maybe you weren't going to see before.
That's true.
And so you got to support yourself in that, and really go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. If you could tell your former self one thing that you know now, what would it be?
Oh gosh, invest in Amazon? No. Um, Actually don't. But
Right.
just be yourself. I spent so much time when I was a Disney podcaster, and I was, in film school, trying to be somebody else. And if you would have told me back in, 2017 when I started film school that I would find success in creative industries hiking on Instagram, like not even YouTube, on Instagram and this thing called TikTok, which at the time was called Musically,
Right.
which I vividly remember being at VidCon in 2017, and the Musically booth was up, and there was all these kids lip syncing and dancing the videos, and it was a little booth at the time, and Musically is what became TikTok.
Hmm.
And I remember saying to my friend there, I was there because I was working for a company that was making YouTube videos, and they sent me to VidCon. And I remember telling my friend who was there, like, Musically, kids, lip syncing and dancing to other people's music, that's not in vertical video, that's not going to go anywhere. If you would have told me then that that's what I'm doing now,
Hmm.
like my film school professors still make fun of me because I'm like one of their most successful alumni, and I make vertical videos for a living. Like, but I just learned to be myself and stop
There you
caring
go.
about what other people think.
There you
And
go.
so be yourself, be authentic, and it doesn't matter what other people think. I get called all kinds of names on the internet every day. I'm sorry they feel that way. I'm not for everybody. That's okay. But I'm living my best life. And that sounds so cliche, I know, but I really am. And
Yeah.
I'm loving it. And I'm loving the journey.
That's wonderful. That is so great to hear. And yes, be yourself is something that I strive to as well. So if people want to follow your journey or along after hearing this, where's the best place? What platform do you think they should go to first?
Instagram's probably the best place to go, at Andy Films and Hikes, but you can go Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, or Substack at Andy Films and Hikes, one word. I am there. If it's anything else at Andy_Hikes Films, it's not me. There will be a blue check mark, on at least on the Meta platforms on Facebook and Instagram. But Andy Films and Hikes, get the best kind of idea of what I do on Instagram and Facebook, though. Facebook's been blowing up. I went from like 0 followers on Facebook back in like March, and now I'm at 235,000.
Wow.
Meta's been putting a lot of money into Facebook and creators there, which has been really cool. Kind of weird though. I'm big on Facebook, but yeah, I would say go to Instagram at Andy Films and Hikes, and then from there, you can find my other platforms.
Awesome. Well, Andy, thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for taking some time with us here at the Support of Ambition. We really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's been great.
Thanks so much to Andy Neal for sharing his journey with us today. And of course, if you want to follow along with his hiking adventures and honest storytelling, find him on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Substack, all at Andy Films and Hikes. Now, of course, if this conversation resonated with you, please subscribe to the Support of Ambition wherever you listen to podcasts, and share this episode to someone who needs to hear it. Stay connected with our community of creators, dreamers, and people doing meaningful work. Thanks for listening, and remember, it's okay not to be okay, but you don't have to do it alone. I'm Danny, and I'll catch you on the next one.